The call came on an ordinary Tuesday morning. I was deep in quarterly reports for Sterling Hospitality Group when my assistant buzzed in. "Mr. Sterling, there's a call from Elegant Events Wedding Planning." I almost ignored it, but then I remembered Marcus, my younger brother, was getting married next month. I'd quietly covered the $50,000 deposit 6 months ago when I heard they were short on funds. It wasn't charity, it was loyalty. They never knew it came from me. "This is David Sterling." "Hi Mr. Sterling. This is Amanda from Elegant Events. I'm calling regarding the Henderson-Miller wedding next month." Her voice was tight, nervous. "There's been an unexpected update concerning your invitation." I set down my pen. "Go ahead." "Well, your family contacted us yesterday. They've requested that you be removed from the guest list entirely. They mentioned a family conflict and specifically said you were not to attend the ceremony or reception." Her words landed like a punch to the chest. Still, I kept my voice even. "I see." She hesitated, then rushed on. "They also asked if they could retain the $50,000 deposit. Mrs. Henderson said it's already been spent on wedding-related expenses." For a moment, silence. Through my office window, the city stretched out beneath me, half the skyline made possible by companies I owned. The same family that labeled me a disappointment had no idea their castaway son ran a $3.8 billion hospitality empire. "Mr. Sterling, are you still there?" "Yes," I replied coolly. "I'd like you to cancel the entire wedding." I'm sorry?" "Cancel it. The venue, catering, flowers, everything." Her voice rose, flustered. "Sir, I don't understand, you're not the groom. You don't have that kind of authority." I cut in gently. "Amanda, what's the name of your company?" "Elegant Events Wedding Planning." "And who owns Elegant Events?" I heard papers rustle. "Sterling Event Holdings." "And who owns that?" Another pause. "Sterling Hospitality Group." "Correct. I'm David Sterling, CEO and sole owner. So yes, I do have that authority. Let me be very specific. Cancel the Grand Harbor Hotel booking. It's mine. Cancel the catering from Symphonic, also mine. The floral arrangements from Premier Botanical, mine. Photography by Lens Light Studios, mine. Oh my God. There's more. The bachelor party at Harborview Resort, mine. The rehearsal dinner at Coastal Elite, mine. Even the limousine service through Prestige Transportation, mine too." She was silent now, breathing unsteadily. "But the wedding is in 3 weeks, 200 guests. Vendors have been paid. Refund any deposits paid by guests. Then send the Henderson and Miller families a bill for the full cost, minus my original $50,000, which I'm keeping as a cancellation fee." "Sir, this will ruin everything." "That's no longer my concern." I ended the call and leaned back in my chair, 28 years old, and they still saw me as the dropout who walked away from Harvard. What they didn't see, what they never bothered to ask, was that I had left to build something greater. My phone buzzed. A message from my mother. "David, we need to talk. Your behavior toward Marcus and Jennifer is hurtful. We think it's best if you skip the wedding, and we'll be keeping your contribution since it's already been used." I smiled as I typed my reply. "Understood. Enjoy the celebration." They had no idea what I'd built while they dismissed me. 8 years of relentless work, silent sacrifice, and strategic expansion. It began with a single idea, that the luxury events industry was fragmented and outdated. I started in a shoebox apartment with a laptop, cold calling clients and planning corporate mixers. I worked 18-hour days, slept on a couch, and took every gig I could get. They called it a phase. 2 years in, I bought my first failing event venue. They called it a hobby. By year 4, I owned 6 venues across 3 states and launched Sterling Hospitality Group. I didn't just plan events, I bought the entire supply chain, caterers, florists, transportation, photography, even the chairs and silverware. They called me the kid with the small business. When I acquired my first boutique hotel downtown, they didn't call at all. I had once mentioned my expansion into accommodations. They nodded politely, then changed the subject. But the real growth came during years 6 and 7. While the economy struggled, I quietly acquired distressed hospitality companies and rebuilt them from the ground up. Harborview Resort, Grand Harbor Hotel, the entire coastal elite restaurant chain. My family dined at those places, vacationed in those hotels, never realizing their disappointment son owned them. 30 minutes after hanging up with Amanda, my phone rang. David. It was my father. His voice was taut, laced with confusion. I just got a call saying Marcus's wedding venue was cancelled. There must be some mistake. No mistake, Dad. What do you mean no mistake? This is absurd. We have a contract. You had a contract with Sterling Event Holdings, which is owned by Sterling Hospitality Group, which is, in fact, owned by me. Silence. David, what are you talking about? I'm talking about how you uninvited me from my own brother's wedding while keeping the $50,000 I contributed, so I cancelled everything else. You paid for the wedding? The venue, the catering, the hotel blocks, the flowers, photography, the rehearsal dinner, the bachelor party, transportation, all of it. Every vendor? Mine. Congratulations, you uninvited the person bankrolling your son's wedding. Another long pause. David. I think there's been a misunderstanding. No, there's been clarity. You made it abundantly clear I'm not welcome at family events, so I made it clear that my companies aren't either. Companies? David, what companies? You plan parties? I almost laughed. 8 years and he still thought I was organizing birthday balloons and buffet tables. No, Dad. I own Sterling Hospitality Group. 47 venues, 23 restaurants, 12 hotels, 6 catering firms, 11 event service providers, 7 states. We brought in $2 billion last year. That can't be. Check the corporate registry. Look at Forbes list, number 17 on fastest growing private companies last year. I heard muffled voices. My mother had picked up. David? Her voice was trembling. We didn't know. We had no idea you were successful. Why didn't you ever tell us? I did. Repeatedly. You just never listened. Remember when I said I acquired Harborview? You said, that's nice. At least you're staying busy. When I said I expanded into hotels, you asked when I'd find a real job. But, you dropped out of Harvard. To build this, I saw a gap in the luxury event market. While Marcus was studying contracts, I was writing them and generating millions in revenue. My father cleared his throat. Son, surely we can find a solution. Marcus's wedding isn't my concern anymore. You uninvited me. You decided my presence would complicate things. Now your celebration can continue, just without me, and without the businesses you relied on. But David, you never asked. You never cared to ask. You assumed I was the dropout failure who couldn't keep up. That's on you. My phone buzzed again. Amanda. I need to take this. David, please. I switched lines. Amanda? Mr. Sterling, sir, I'm getting flooded with calls. Your brother, your parents, even the bride's family. They're all trying to rebook. But sir, with just 3 weeks' notice, it's chaos. All top-tier venues are already full. The vendors are maxed out. There's nothing left. What about Grandview Manor? That's yours too, but it's already booked for that weekend. Right, then they'll need to figure something else out. Mr. Sterling, your mother called me personally. She was crying. There are 200 guests flying in from all over. She's begging for an alternative. I paused. She wants any solution? Yes, sir, anything. Fine, they can use Grandview Manor. It's my smallest venue. Max capacity, 80 guests. Basic catering only. House floral arrangements. Staff photographer. No upgrades. Total cost, $200,000, paid up front. Sir, that's 4 times what they originally paid, and for half the space. That's the market rate for short notice bookings. If they want access to my empire, they play by my terms. And if they don't? They can have a courthouse wedding. I hung up. 3 hours later, Marcus called. David, what the hell is going on? You're getting married. Congratulations. Don't screw with me. Mom's a mess. Dad's been on the phone with every vendor and everyone keeps saying the same thing, you own them. What kind of twisted power move is this? It's not a move. Marcus, It's business. This is my wedding, not a corporate merger. A wedding I paid for. A wedding I was excluded from. A wedding your entire family pretended I didn't deserve to be at, while pocketing my money. We didn't know it was from you. Then maybe you should have asked. Mom came to me 6 months ago, said you and Jennifer were struggling. I wired $50,000 that same day. David, I didn't know. No one did, because no one cared to find out. You just labeled me the family screw-up and kept walking. That's not fair. Isn't it? Tell me, Marcus, when was the last time you asked about my life? My work? Anything beyond a polite nod at Thanksgiving? Silence. Here's my offer, I said. You can have your wedding at one of my venues, but I want 3 things: a formal apology from the entire family, a public acknowledgement that you were wrong about me, and a restored invitation, not as a courtesy, but because you want me there. David, of course we want. Do you want me, or do you want my money? That's not fair. What's fair is standing by your brother, not uninviting him behind closed doors while cashing his check. Another pause. What happens if we don't agree? Then good luck finding a venue, a caterer, or a limo with 3 weeks' notice. You'll have to plan it the old-fashioned way. And if we do agree? Then you get the wedding you wanted, and I stand next to you, as family should. I need to talk to Jennifer and our parents. Of course you do. That evening, my phone rang again. This time, it was Jennifer. Marcus's bride-to-be. David, it's Jennifer. We need to talk. Congratulations on the engagement. Thank you. Look. I didn't know. Marcus never told me you were helping with the wedding costs, and I definitely didn't know about your businesses. Most people don't. I spent the entire afternoon reading about Sterling Hospitality Group. You own half the venues I used to dream about getting married in. It's been a busy few years. David, I owe you an apology. We all do. I was there when your parents decided not to invite you. I should have said something. Why didn't you? Because Marcus made you sound like the reckless brother who never got it together. I believed him, but now I realize. Marcus doesn't really know you. None of us do. There was a pause. I could hear the emotion in her voice. I want you at the wedding, David, not because of your success, not because of your money, but because you're Marcus' brother, and because you clearly value family more than we ever realized. What does Marcus think? He's processing. Everything he thought he knew about you is unraveling. And my parents? They're stunned. They spent years thinking you were the family failure. Now they're realizing you might be the most successful person in any room you walk into. Success isn't just money, Jennifer. No, it's not. But respect means acknowledging when someone's earned it, and you have. The next day, Amanda, my executive assistant, called. Mr. Sterling, your family has accepted the terms. The deposit for the Grandview Manor package is in, and they've asked that your invitation be reinstated. All conditions met? Yes, sir. Your father asked me to relay a message. He'd like a private meeting before the wedding to offer a formal apology. Also, your brother wants to know if you'd consider being his best man. I leaned back in my chair, watching the city skyline stretch out before me. 8 years of building a billion-dollar empire while my family labeled me the disappointment. 8 years of offering olive branches they mistook for excuses. 8 years of being invisible in plain sight. Amanda. Yes, sir. Set the meeting. Saturday, Harborview Resort, my private dining room. And Amanda? Yes. Make sure the catering is flawless. Saturday, 2 p.m. I arrived early and stood at the window, looking out over the harbor. This was the crown jewel of my acquisitions, a failing resort I had rebuilt into a premier destination. The private dining room alone was worth more than some mansions. My family arrived, Mom, Dad, Marcus, and Jennifer. They paused, stunned by the luxury. Crystal chandeliers, hand-carved furnishings, a panoramic view of the sea. David, my father said, extending his hand, thank you for meeting with us. Please, sit. They gathered around the mahogany table as the servers brought in lunch, prepared by chefs who regularly catered for celebrities and heads of state. This place is breathtaking, Mom whispered. I had no idea. she added. That I owned it? I asked. I told you I was expanding. This was the expansion. Dad cleared his throat. David, we owe you a deep apology. I'm listening. For years, we saw what we wanted to see, what we expected to see. We never took the time to understand who you really were. Marcus leaned forward. I'm sorry, David, for everything. I judged you. I dismissed your success. I let them disinvite you. Why'd you assume I was irresponsible? Because you dropped out of Harvard. You never had a regular job. You never bragged about what you were building. Would bragging have helped? No, he admitted. But maybe if you'd been more direct. I gave a faint smile. I told you, Marcus, 3 years ago. I said I'd acquired a hotel chain. You said, that's nice. Then changed the topic to your latest law case. I didn't realize you meant you owned them. What did you think I meant? He didn't have an answer. Jennifer spoke. David, we want to start fresh. We want to know you, your story, your business, your life. We want to be a real family. And if I hadn't ended up rich? Dad answered solemnly. Then we probably would have kept treating you like a disappointment. That's the hard truth. At least now it's truth. Mom had tears in her eyes. David, I'm proud of you. Not just for the empire you built, but for still wanting to help with the wedding. After everything. Your family. That still means something to me, even when it didn't seem to mean much to you. Marcus stood and came around the table. David. I know I don't deserve this, but I'm asking again. Would you be my best man? I looked at the brother who always fit the mold, who never broke a rule, never took a risk, and for the first time, I saw humility in his eyes. I'd be honored. 3 weeks later, the wedding was held at Grandview Manor. It wasn't my biggest venue, but it was stunning, coastal views, award-winning gardens, and an event staff trained to perfection. The same family who once called my business party planning now watched in stunned silence as my team delivered a flawless, elegant celebration. When it came time for my best man speech, I stepped up to the mic and scanned the 200 guests, many of whom had spent the evening whispering about the man behind the venue. When we were kids, Marcus looked up to me. At some point, that changed. He saw me as the brother who threw away his future, who quit Harvard, who stopped chasing their version of success. I looked over at my family. What Marcus didn't realize was, I never stopped chasing success. I just redefined it. Success isn't about titles or prestige. It's about building something meaningful, and sharing it with the people who matter. I raised my glass. To Marcus and Jennifer, may you build something beautiful together, and may you never forget, the best successes are the ones you share with family. That night, out on the terrace, Dad approached me. David, can I ask you something? Go ahead. Why didn't you just tell us? Why let us believe you were struggling? I thought for a moment. Because I wanted you to be proud of me for who I was, not what I owned. I wanted to prove that dropping out, starting over, building something from nothing, had value. And we didn't see it. No, but you saw something else tonight that mattered more. What was that? When faced with the truth, you chose humility. You chose family over pride. That means more to me than anything. He put a hand on my shoulder. I'm proud of you, David, not just for what you've built, but for who you are. You had every reason to walk away. Instead, you brought us back together. Family's family, even when they forget how to act like it. Driving home that night, I thought about the past 8 years. The Harvard dropout who became a billionaire. The overlooked brother who built a hospitality empire. The so-called disappointment who became the foundation. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Thank you. I'm sorry it took me this long to see you. I'm lucky you're my brother. I smiled and typed back. Welcome to the family business. Because it was never just about building hotels. It was about building something that could bring people together. Even if it took them years to finally see it. The next morning, my phone lit up, 17 missed calls. 43 text messages. Photos of the wedding had gone viral. But more important were the texts from my parents, Marcus, and Jennifer. When's dinner? Let's do it right this time. A real family dinner. And as I sat in my office overlooking the city I helped shape, I finally understood. Success isn't proving people wrong. It's loving them enough to wait until they get it right.